If you don't believe you can win, then you've already lost. That is the topic of today's video, and that's what's on my mind. I just finished working out. Another one of my classic sweaty car post-gym videos. So I apologize if the audio isn't on par with some of my other videos where I have my mic and my fancy gear, but I felt like the message is strong and needs to be shared. So if you don't believe you can win, you have already lost. And this applies to many things. I know a lot of my audience is here for my quit drinking videos, and this applies with quitting drinking alcohol as well. If you don't think you can quit drinking alcohol, you are not going to keep trying. You're going to keep spiraling. You are not going to do the work to actually quit drinking alcohol. Plain and simple. But this doesn't just apply to alcohol, guys. This applies to everything. Let's take an example for me, dating and relationships. Just because it hasn't worked out X amount of times doesn't mean it's not always going to work out. But the moment you or I start to believe that it won't work out for us, that's the moment we stop playing the game. Building your dream life, having the finances you want, having the money you want, having the experiences in life that you want. Like, if you don't believe that it's possible for you, because where your mind goes, the body will follow, you will not take action. You will not be motivated. You will not even believe that's a possibility for you. Like, if you already feel like you can't lose weight, you can't get in shape, it's too hard of a journey, you don't have the motivation, you don't have the discipline, the more you tell yourself those self-destructive narratives, it's a downward spiral, and it will perpetuate the cycle of you not actually getting the thing you really want. Same thing with quitting drinking alcohol. Just because you failed 100, 200, 300 times to drop the bottle, so to speak, you can't look at that and then just quit and just be so demoralized by it and just think like, man, I am never going to quit drinking alcohol because I failed so many times. And I think a big part of this is that most things that we want out of life are within our realm of attainability. Like, you know, as long as you're not delusional. Like, I could want wings and to fly as much as I want, but like, I'm never going to sprout wings and fly. But things like breaking bad habits, quitting alcohol, building up better finances, finding your dream relationship and compatibility partner, all of these are well within the realm of attainment. The question is, do you have the endurance and the capacity to go through the pain, and even though all the evidence suggests otherwise, to still persevere and push through it? I'm going to bring up a classic example, guys. Thomas Edison. Do you know how many times he failed at making the light bulb? 2,774 times. 2,774 times this man failed to make a light bulb. Did he think he failed 2,774 times? No. He said, I figured out 2,774 ways to not make a light bulb. When have you tried anything more than 10 times, 20 times? Same with me. I'm right now working on the dating and relationship and the business side of my life. So it's like, you know, you go on a couple dates and they don't go well, you get a little discouraged. But I'm constantly having to take myself out of that frame, and I'm like, no, it really doesn't matter, because if I have to endure 500 shitty first dates before I meet the one that I finally click with and we're on the same page with, then that's just the pain and the process and what I have to endure. But with quitting drinking alcohol, it was the same thing for me, because I struggled with that a shitload as well, guys. I probably tried to quit drinking and cut back on alcohol at least 100 times. I didn't count each individual attempt. I just was like, okay, I'm going to try again. Okay, I'm going to try again. But here's the thing. Whenever I would fail and I would slip up and I would go back to drinking alcohol, I would feel a little bit demoralized. You know, like I would go a couple days sober, I would go a week sober, I would go a month sober, and then there's a party or an event or we're going on a trip and I feel the urge to drink, and because I want that dopamine so bad, I feel like I want to partake, and then I would slip up, I would start drinking again, I would go back to, you know, the anxiety, the depression, all the stuff I've talked about here on the channel. I would slip back into that negative vibration and those old routines and those old habits, and that like just like deep sense of like self-loathing, like, man, alcohol is not helping me, it's not serving me anymore. But I've like, man, it's been like 20, 30 times that I've like tried to quit, or 40 or 50 or however many it was. And the thing is, like, when you look at it, and even though all the evidence suggests it's not going to work out for you, like, man, you quit drinking 300, you try to quit drinking 300 times. Look at all this evidence. Your brain will look at that and it'll think you're a failure, and it'll make you want to not even try and not even think it's possible for you. Or you've gone on like 100 really shitty first dates, or you get on social media and you realize like, man, modern dating sucks. It's all hookup culture. Nobody gives a shit about anybody. Then you give up and you buy into modern culture. Then you just become this polyamorous person who's just sleeping around, hooking up with everybody, whatever, to each his own. But I think a lot of those people really want committed relationships and healthy, stable relationships. But a lot of people have given up on it, and as a result, nobody's trying for it, which is kind of crazy, you know? But that's a whole different story. But coming back to the drinking, guys, like, just because you failed a bunch doesn't mean you can't do it. But even though you failed a bunch, and even though your brain is literally telling you it's not going to work out for you, you know, you take whatever, like you've tried to build a business 100 times, you went on like 500 shitty first dates, you have tried to quit drinking or your negative habits. Like, it doesn't have to be drinking, it could be porn, it could be any kind of vice, weed, marijuana, sitting in front of the damn TV too much, not going to the gym. It can literally be whatever. And when you look at all the times you failed, the first human response is to be incredibly demoralized by it and to just want to throw in the towel and want to just feel like quitting and giving up. You know, like, fuck, I've tried this 100 damn times and I haven't got it right yet. Let me quit. Let me give up. Let's go back to Thomas Edison. Did you try it 2,774 times? No, I haven't. On a lot of things I haven't. So why not keep trying? And I think the thing with it is when you give up and when you look at all that evidence, even though it looks ridiculous, like logically your brain does not want to accept that you can actually do this. Like, man, I failed trying to quit drinking 200 times. I failed with dating 200 times. I failed trying to start a business or make a bunch of money like 200 times. The key is to look at all that, look at that evidence, learn from it, but don't associate with it. Because if you start looking at that as failure, you will never try. You will never pick yourself up out of the dirt. You will never get back on the horse because you don't believe you can do it. And when you don't believe you can do it, guys, you've already lost. The topic of this video, if you don't believe you can win, you have already lost. The thing you have to do is to not beat yourself up for all those, don't even call them failed experiences. Maybe they were a failed experience, whatever. But failure, rejection, and slow progress is still progress. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Failure, rejection, and slow progress is still progress. Just because you're not getting to where you need to be yet doesn't mean you're not going to get there. It just means you got to work the process. Keep quitting drinking. Just because you relapse after a week, a month, 2 weeks, doesn't mean you can't do it eventually. And the moment you stop doing that and you stop beating yourself up about all the shitty dates and all the shitty drinking experiences and all the times you slipped up and went back to your vices and habits, that's the moment the change starts to happen. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. You might have to struggle another 50, 100, 500 times. But if you believe that you can actually get the things you want and you take the timeline out of the equation, like, this is what I want, this is what I'm going for, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there. If you want to quit drinking alcohol, even though you slip up, even though you're drunk, you're tipsy, get on YouTube, watch some sobriety videos. Start again tomorrow. Start again stronger. If it takes 5,000 day ones, it doesn't really matter. If 5,001 is the last day one, and then you get your life, you get the thing you always wanted. Like, just have fun with it. Have fun with the process. I know it sucks. I know you want to spiral, because I've spiraled plenty of times. You know, I got 2 weeks sober, 1 month sober, went back to drinking, and I hate myself. And when you start to hate yourself and don't think you can do it, you will continue to self-fulfill the prophecy for yourself. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because then you won't believe it can happen for you. But the moment you make that shift, even though all the evidence is stacked against you, because your brain is looking at it, reticular activation system, another discussion for another time. But even though you have all this evidence saying that you can't have this thing, you can't buy into that evidence. This part requires maybe a little bit of delusion, but it works. You have to look at all this and be like, okay, this is 100 ways that didn't work for me. What can I do differently? Don't associate with the failure. Remember, failure and rejection and slow progress is still progress. Keep moving forward. Don't associate with it. Don't beat yourself up too hard. 50 shitty dates, 100 shitty dates, not making the money you want. Don't beat yourself up, guys. keep working the process. This applies to pretty much everything in life. And honestly, it's a lesson I am reteaching myself today in this moment, because I'm remembering the struggles of quitting drinking and quitting alcohol. And I won that battle. I finally won that battle, you know, like going on 3 years sober here. And it's amazing and it's incredible. And that's why I've got love for the sober community. And I love putting these videos out about alcohol. But you know, I'm in the next phase now. I'm in the build a business phase, get to a higher quality of life phase, a more income phase, meet my person phase. And it's hard. It's almost the same thing. Like quitting drinking was like one thing, but this is like a different level of it, because, you know, like, you know, I go out on some dates and sometimes they don't go right. And then sometimes I get ghosted. And then I'm like, well, what the fuck? Like, why am I even doing this? Culture shit. But the moment I start to think that way, I go to a very toxic, dark place and I start to live the self-fulfilling prophecy. So I have to remind myself, like, fuck it. If I have to go out on like 100, 200, 500 fucking shitty first dates, if I have to get ghosted 200 more times, it's just the process. It's nothing personal. I'm not going to associate that as failure or rejection or slow progress, because remember, failure, rejection, and slow progress is still progress. I know what I want. I know what I'm worth. I'm a good quality human being looking for another good quality human being. It's going to happen. Ditch the timeline. I might have to watch this video myself in the future to remind myself. I know one of my good friends, she's going to watch this video and she's like, Sammy, go back and watch your own video, because I always talk to her when I'm having relationship drama and issues. So I already know. You? I guess it's for you. You could call me out of my shit later in the future. But guys, you got to just work the process. Whatever area of life you don't feel like you're going to make it, you can. It's attainable for you. It's your brain holding you back. Remember, if you don't believe you can win, you've already lost. You are not going to even think it's possible for you. And as a result, you're going to be withdrawn. You're not going to take action. You're not going to have any motivation because you don't think you can do it. Someone who wants a quality relationship but thinks modern dating is shitty and there's no good people there, they're not going to show up. And they're not going to go out on good first dates. They're not going to be their organic self. They're already just going to think everybody's shit. Quitting drinking alcohol, you don't believe you can quit, you don't believe you have the power, you don't believe you have the motivation, then you're never going to quit. You're going to keep drinking, you're going to keep spiraling. Life is going to keep getting worse and worse and worse until you die. I mean, we're all going to die, but that's not the kind of death I want it to have. Same thing, guys. If you don't believe it, you won't try. But here's the good news, is that you're watching this video right now and you have the power to make the decision to believe that it will work out for you. Whatever area in life you're struggling with, whatever you're trying to do, dating, relationships, quitting drinking alcohol, building up a better quality of life for yourself, the power is right here, guys. Right now, right now watching this video, tell yourself what it is that you want. And even though your brain is probably going to start signaling and showing you all this evidence of all this bullshit, like it hasn't worked out yet, why would it work out for me? Remember Thomas Edison, 2,774 attempts to build a freaking light bulb before it actually worked. Have you tried it? Whatever area in life you're doing, have you tried it 2,774 times? No, probably not. So even though you failed 100 times, 200 times, I don't care. You have the power right now. I'm telling you. You can change your narrative. You can change your story. Your brain is going to look at all this evidence of you not getting the thing you wanted, of you not achieving the thing you wanted, but you gotta, hey, turn down the volume on it, and you do have the power to do this. And even though it feels delusional and it feels crazy and you feel like you can't tell yourself it'll work out for you, that is the thing you have to do. And the moment you do it, you can breathe. Get rid of the timeline. It doesn't matter if you get sober tomorrow. It doesn't matter if you get sober a year from now, 2 years from now. The point is, if you keep showing up, you will get sober. Relationships, dating. It doesn't matter if I meet my wife this year, guys. Next year, 5 years from now, I'm going to meet her. Like, it's already a done deal because I've made the decision in my head. Because if you don't believe it'll work out for you, you've already lost. So if you take one thing from this video, that's what this whole video has been about, is believe it will work out for you. Get real with yourself. Tell yourself what it is that you want. And even though the evidence is stacked against you and everything seems like shit, or your family doesn't believe in you, your friends don't believe in you, whatever, just know that I believe in you. And if you want it, you can get it. Just keep showing up. Keep working the process. Much love, fam. I love you. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.
Yeah, I'm about to fade away, cause every time I wake up I feel like it's Monday. Something's going wrong with all the chemicals up in my brain. All of a sudden I don't look at anything the same way. Got a buildup of my thoughts sitting in an ashtray. I'm sorry that I'm so inconvenient, okay. Just let me be me and I'll stay out of your way.